Hey guys, it's Ruth. I'm a personal trainer and wellness professional, and today I wanted to share with you some of my top tips for fat loss and weight loss. After all, we don't just want to be thinner and lighter, we want to be fit. So tip number one is to start your day with a substantial breakfast. I'm talking about 400 to 600 calories of something that's going to have a good amount of protein and healthy fat, and then some slow load carbs. So I often will combine tip number one with tip number two, which is use a meal replacement shake for breakfast or lunch. We found that most people will be more likely to lose weight if they substitute one of their meals for a meal replacement shake. I happen to use something called ProFit. You want to start with a good quality protein, and then you're going to add some quality fat to that. So I will use a good coconut milk, I'll use an almond milk, and coconut milk actually has something in it called MCT, medium chain triglycerides, and those are going to help your body burn more fat. So coconut milk is a good option for that. Then we're going to add some slow load carbs, and those are things like berries. Try to use frozen berries that are organic, and it is important to do organic berries because berries are under the category of dirty dozen, which means there's more things that are used with pesticides in a dirty dozen. So we want organic berries, and then you could put some spinach or some kale in it, and those are great things to add to a smoothie because you don't really taste the spinach or the kale. All right, what the slow load carbs are going to do is they're going to provide you with a steady stream of glucose, which is going to give you energy throughout the morning. And then the protein and healthy fat is going to keep you satiated, which is really important to keeping you fuller longer. Okay, so tip number one is to start your day with a substantial breakfast. And tip number two is replace one or two meals a day with a high quality protein shake. Okay, tip number three is don't go to bed with a full stomach. All right, so it's super duper important that you're not wasting your body's good energy on digesting food. Ideally, you're going to finish your day eating around 6 or 7, and you want a good 12 to 14 hour fast before you eat again. So if you ate at 6, you're going to eat again at 6 or 7 or 8. Okay, so a good 12 to 14 hour window, and here's why. When you have less food in your stomach, your body is going to produce something called ghrelin. And ghrelin is a hormone that makes you feel hungry. But at night, it's good because you want to have ghrelin in your system. Ghrelin is actually going to help with the production of human growth hormone. And human growth hormone is what repairs our body. It's what's going to help you sleep better. It's going to help with your muscle tone and your post-workout recovery. It slows down the aging process. So having an empty stomach, or somewhat empty, you want to wait about 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed after you've eaten last. And your body will naturally be producing more human growth hormone when ghrelin is present. Okay, so tip number 4 is to find the hidden sugars and to lower your sugar impact. I get a lot of people that say, oh, I think I do really well. I'm not eating a lot of sugar, but they're eating the Yoplait fruit in the bottom yogurt, or they're eating a bran muffin from Starbucks. And while you might think those are good choices, the yogurt is filled with sugar. So when I have my clients choose yogurt, I want them to do plain Greek yogurt, and then they could add their berries to it. Okay, so really watch your hidden sugars. Instead of ketchup, why don't you try putting hot sauce or salsa on your burger? And instead of that bran muffin, try that smoothie. So really watch the hidden sugars, and don't just say, well, it's okay, I've got a diet soda, or I'm drinking Crystal Light, or I'm using an artificial sweetener, because artificial sweeteners are even worse than sugar. Here's the thing. Artificial sweeteners are 300 times sweeter than sugar. That means when you eat sweet, you crave sweet. And so it's really, really important that we're cleansing our palate of sweet, so we don't want to keep craving more. Studies show that people who consume artificial sweeteners on a regular basis have a larger waist circumference than people that consume regular sugar. So neither one is great. You want to avoid both. And the bad thing about both sugar and artificial sweetener is they feed the bad bacteria in your gut. You may have caught my video last week about microbiome, and it's super duper important that we are not feeding the bad guys. So avoid the sugar, avoid the artificial sweetener, and limit it. So get it naturally with honey, get it naturally with fruit, and don't go for the processed stuff. At the end of the day, your body does recognize all forms of sugar as sugar, and if you don't burn it off, it's going to get stored as fat. So just limit it, okay? All right, number 5. This is super important, especially as we age, and this is burst to blast fat. Now, a lot of you probably are familiar with high intensity interval training, and it's the same principle. In essence, bursting to blast fat is making your body push all out for 30 to 60 seconds, and then you have a double recovery time. So if you are normally a walker, you might jog for 30 seconds and then recover for a minute. Or if you jog, you might go for a full out sprint for 30 to 60 seconds, and then you're going to rest for a minute to 2 minutes, depending on how long you burst. What bursting does is it boosts your metabolism, and it's so important that, especially as we age, we're keeping that metabolism high. I love bursting, and the optimal time to do burst training is early in the morning before you have any food in your stomach. It doesn't take you long at all. You can get your bursts in 6 to 12 minutes, and then you can enjoy your breakfast. When you do it on the empty stomach, you're actually going to be burning fat for fuel instead of carbs for fuel. And I don't know about you, but I think I'd rather burn fat and be a fat burner than a sugar burner. The other thing is the burst training is just going to give you more energy, and it's going to help your body burn fat instead of sugar. Whatever your body uses for fuel during your workout, we actually burn the opposite post-workout. So if you're normally burning sugar during your workout, you're going to be burning fat later on. So tip number 5, burst to blast fat. Aim at doing it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And if you can't do it in the morning, do it anytime during the day. It's better than not getting it in at all, but try to do it early in the morning. Okay, final tip is vary your calories. So our bodies tend to get stuck if we do the same thing all the time. You may have heard a term called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting has a couple of different definitions, and I see a lot of things out there. My definition of intermittent fasting is basically varying your calories or varying what you're putting into your body. So if you can mix things up each day, you're going to keep your body guessing. It's kind of a biohack where you're able to change things up, challenge your body's metabolism, and make it work better for you. Okay, so here's an example. If you typically eat about 1,600 calories a day, and you're doing that every day, one day you might have 1,300 calories, and another day you might have 1,800 calories, okay? Now, I do see some people out there that have a cheat day, and they go all out, and they're eating donuts, and they're eating Big Macs, and they're eating crap. I am never, ever going to be on board with a camp that says put crap in your body, because your body is needing good food, and food is fuel, and food is information. If you fill your body with crap on a cheat day, you're going to be feeling inflamed, you're going to be feeling tired, lack of energy. So my way of doing intermittent fasting is doing something during a certain window of time. You might eat during 8 hours and fast the rest of the time. And I do that personally 2 or 3 times a week on days that I do burst training. And another way to do it is, instead of eating your typical carbs that are good for you, like quinoa and sweet potato and brown rice, I might replace those with leafy green vegetables. So I'm still getting carbs, but it's not the medium impact carbs like sweet potato, brown rice, and quinoa. It's going to be more leafy, so you can vary it like that. All right, so those are 6 tips. I've got lots more. We'll be doing more segments on this, but I wanted to share that for you. This is a toolbox of tips that you can use, that you could apply. Maybe pick 1 or 2 and work on it, and eventually get all 6. And hopefully that's going to help you with your weight loss goals. Thanks guys. And if you find this information helpful, share it with a friend.